Good morning, cadets. Yesterday we have derived the equation for time period of oscillation of a simple pendulum. We proved that when the pendulum oscillates for small displacements, it undergoes simple harmonic motion, and then we calculated the angular frequency and the time period of oscillation. Now let us see one simple example on simple pendulum. What is the length of the simple pendulum which ticks seconds? The question is very simple. What is the length of the simple pendulum which ticks seconds? What does it mean? Suppose this is the pendulum. The length is measured from the center of the ball, from the center of gravity of the ball to the point of support. This is the length. Which ticks seconds means what? When it oscillates to and fro about the mean position, when it oscillates to and fro about the mean position, when it moves from right extreme end to left extreme end, it ticks 1 second. When it moves from left extreme position to right extreme position, again it ticks 1 second. Means time taken from right extreme position to left extreme position is 1 second. In the same way, time taken from left extreme position to right extreme position is 1 second. When it goes from left extreme to right extreme, it takes 1 second. From right extreme to left extreme, it takes 1 second. So total time period is 2 seconds. So if total time period is 2 seconds, then what is the length of that pendulum? It is also done experimentally, that we will see later. Experimentally also we can find out what is the length of a pendulum for which the time period of oscillation is 2 seconds. Okay. Here time period of oscillation T is equal to 2 seconds. This is given. They are asked to find out what is length of such simple pendulum. We have time period of oscillation. In the last video we have derived this equation 2 pi square root of L over G, where L is the length of the pendulum and G is the acceleration due to gravity. Then squaring of both sides, we get T square is equal to 4 pi square L over G. After squaring on both sides, we get T square is equal to 4 pi square L over G. Right? Then take this G to the left hand side. That gives us the equation for L. This implies L is equal to Gt square upon 4 pi square. Gt square upon 4 pi square. Substituting the value of G is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Right? If you substitute these values, then we get, therefore, L is equal to 9.8 into 2 into 2. 4 seconds, that is T square, divided by 4 into 3.14 into 3.14 pi square, 3.14 whole square, 3.14 into 3.14. So 4 cancels. So if you take this approximately 3.14 whole square as equal to 9.8, almost equal to 9.8, if you cancel, then we get 1 meter, that is 100 centimeter. Length of the pendulum is 100 centimeter. So if you take a pendulum of length 100 centimeter and keep it for oscillating, you will get time period of oscillation to be equal to 2 seconds. You can perform this on your own. Take a heavy stone, tie it with the help of a thread, and take a thread of sufficient length and tie the other end of the thread to a fixed support and keep it for oscillation for small displacements. When you leave it for small displacements, with the help of a stopwatch, if you observe, then the time period of oscillation is going to be 2 seconds. And one more interesting thing you observe from this equation, time period of oscillation. Time period of oscillation does not depend on the mass of the bob, whether you take a heavy bob or lighter bob. The time period of oscillation is independent of mass. This is very important. Time period of oscillation of simple pendulum does not depend on mass. This was actually first did by experiment was first calculated by Galileo. He observed the motion of chandelier in the church. He observed the motion of chandelier and oscillating chandelier, and he could calculate time period of oscillation of oscillating chandelier with the help of his pulse. There were no watches. With the help of his pulse rate, and then he could calculate the acceleration due to gravity. When you can be able to get time period of oscillation for a particular length, you can very easily calculate what is g value. See, what is g from this equation? You can see from this equation g is equal to 4 pi square L upon t square. 4 pi square L upon t square. With the knowledge of the length of the pendulum and time period of oscillation, one can calculate acceleration due to gravity. So acceleration due to gravity was calculated for the first time by Galileo. Okay. So this was the important calculation and important contribution. Now in the experiment we are going to draw the graph of L versus t square and L versus t. You know, from here, from this equation, t is directly proportional to square root of L. Acceleration due to gravity is constant. 2 pi is also constant. So time period of oscillation is directly proportional to square root of L. As we increase the length of the pendulum, time period also increases. As we decrease the length of the pendulum, time period also decreases. That is the important thing. So if you draw the graph of L versus t, what kind of graph you are going to have? It's going to be a curve. L versus t graph, if you draw, it's going to be a curve. So when you draw the graph of L versus t, see here, t is directly proportional to square root of L. It means t square is directly proportional to L. So if you draw t versus L, you will get a curve of this nature, curve graph. And if you draw t square versus L, t square versus L if it is taken along x axis and t square along y axis, if you draw the graph, you will get a straight line graph because t square is directly proportional to L. So these are the type of graphs which you are going to verify experimentally when you do the experiment with simple pendulum. Okay, that time you will definitely realize these graphs experimentally. Okay, now we are going to learn the real oscillations that take place in the medium, real oscillations of a simple pendulum or real oscillations of any oscillating body like a spring attached with the load. We have studied them that they undergo simple harmonic motion with fixed interval of time and having a fixed frequency of oscillation and having a fixed value of angular frequency, omega equal to square root of k by m. But when we actually do in the laboratory, we are doing the experiment in the presence of air. So when we do the experiment in the presence of air or in the actual medium, then the oscillations of a oscillations of a pendulum or oscillations of a spring attached with the load are eventually dying out. This is common experience. You must have enjoyed oscillations of a swing. You must have enjoyed in a swing, oscillating swing. When you go on oscillating in a swing, after a certain amount of time, you see the oscillations of the swing go on, oscillations of the swing go on decreasing. The amplitude of oscillations keep on decreasing, and finally the oscillating body come to rest. Such oscillations are called as damped oscillations. What are the causes of such damped oscillations? The causes of such damped oscillations are mainly the friction at the point of support. The friction where you are connecting the string to the rigid support. When the pendulum is oscillating, there is always a friction. This friction will oppose the oscillations. It will oppose the motion. And second thing is, we are doing the experiment in the presence of air. So air will exert air resistance, air drags. Air will exert a viscous force. We have studied viscosity. Air also exerts viscous force. As a result of a viscous force, the motion of a oscillating body will not be easy. As a result, what happens? The oscillating pendulum or oscillating spring eventually keeps on decreasing its amplitude, and finally at a particular moment the oscillating body comes to rest. So such oscillations are called as damped oscillations. Let us learn about damped oscillations in detail. Now we are learning the actual oscillations in the medium, which we term them as damped oscillations. We know that motion of a pendulum swinging in air eventually dies out. The motion of oscillations of a pendulum in air, the swinging in air, the oscillations eventually die out. Why does it happen? What is the reason? Mainly the dissipative forces. The dissipative forces such as friction at the point of support, which opposes the motion, and second one, the air drag, the viscous drag of the air. Whenever the pendulum is oscillating, there is viscous drag of the air which opposes the speed of oscillations of the pendulum bob. As a result, what happens? The oscillations of the pendulum die out eventually. Such kind of oscillations whose amplitude goes on decreasing, whose amplitude of oscillations goes on decreasing, and eventually the oscillations die out are called as damped oscillations. So we will write the reasons here why the motion of the pendulum swinging in air dies out eventually. Why? The main thing is friction at the point of support, at the point of rigid support, and second thing is the air drag, that is viscous force of air, which we also call it as air resistance. Viscous force of air, or is also called as air resistance. These are the two causes for the actual oscillations in the medium to be having their oscillations dying out eventually. Such oscillations are called as damped oscillations. So we can write what are damped oscillations. The oscillations of any which eventually die out. As a result of decreasing amplitudes, decreasing amplitude of oscillation are called as damped oscillations. If the damping effect is minimum, if the friction at the point of support is minimum and air drag, that is viscous force, air resistance in the laboratory is minimum, then damping effect is also minimum. So when there is a less damping, the time period of oscillation will be always constant. As a result, when there is a less damping, the frequency of oscillations is also almost constant. Angular frequency almost remain constant. So in other words, when there is a less damping effect, the oscillations of a pendulum or oscillations of a spring attached with a load are taken to be simple harmonic oscillations. They undergo or they execute simple harmonic motion when the damping effect are considered to be minimum. When the damping effects are considered to be minimum. Damping effects means these are the damping effects. So these are called as main cause for damping effects. Main cause of damping effects are air resistance and friction. If in case the pendulum is taken in a liquid like water, or if it is taken in a oil medium, then damping effect will be still more. So the damping effect, that is viscosity, will be more depending on the type of medium that we do the experiment. Depending on the type of medium in which we are carrying out the oscillations of a pendulum or oscillations of a spring. So as we change the medium, damping effects also change. If it is done in air with minimum air, damping effect will be minimum. If the experiment is done in a medium like liquid like water or any other oil, then damping effect will be greater. Then the oscillations will be dying out very quickly. So frequency may not be remaining constant. So oscillations of such pendulum or oscillations of any such oscillating body will not have constant angular acceleration if damping effect is more. So angular acceleration will keep on decreasing. Okay, that is the meaning of damping effect. Now let us study one particular case. Consider a spring attached with a block of mass m. A spring attached with a block of mass m. This is a spring connected to a rigid support here, and block m is connected at the bottom so that it can oscillate freely in the air. This is the surrounding medium, that is represented here by dots as air. We can say it is air. Initially, before it is being pulled down, let its equilibrium position be shown at 0 mark, 0 displacement. Now, if this block is slightly pulled down and released, then what happens? The block attached with the spring keeps on oscillating up and down about this equilibrium position, and these oscillations continue for certain amount of time, and slowly the amplitude of oscillations go on decreasing. Finally the block comes to halt. So Such oscillations are called as damped oscillations. As I have told you, the reasons for the damped oscillations in this case are the friction at the point of support and the surrounding medium in which the oscillations are taking out. Let us study this in detail and find the equation for the angular acceleration, angular frequency of damped oscillations. Equation for angular frequency of damped oscillations, and even equation for displacement of damped oscillations. Now consider a system in which a block of mass m connected to an elastic spring, of a spring constant k, let the spring constant of this spring be k, oscillating in the vertical line, oscillating vertically. Then here it is surrounded by air. Then when it is pushed a little down and released, then the block oscillates about the equilibrium position. So here vertical line is representing the displacement, that is x. X representing the displacement. Here below here it is taken positive displacement and above here it is taken negative displacement. So it will oscillate up and down about the equilibrium position. Then its angular acceleration, angular frequency, not angular acceleration, angular frequency. We know we have calculated is given by square root of k by m. Square root of k by m. Now, in practice, however, what is happening? This block is surrounded by air. As a result, the air drags, the air exerts a viscous drag on the motion of this block, motion of this mass moving up and down. So when it is moving down, it opposes the downward motion. When the block is moving up, it opposes the upward motion. So in whatever way the block is moving up and down, the motion of this oscillating block is opposed by viscosity of this medium. And this drag increases if the medium is replaced by some other medium like liquid medium. If it is done in the liquid medium, then drag will be still more and the dissipation of energy will be still more and the oscillating block comes to halt very quickly. So when it is oscillating in the surrounding medium having certain viscosity, then the energy of oscillating body keeps on decreasing because some amount of this oscillating energy is lost in overcoming this viscosity and in overcoming this friction. So in general, energy is lost in overcoming the dissipative forces. So that energy which is lost is found in the form of heat in the surrounding medium and as well as heat in the movement of the heat in the moving up. Heat is developed in the surrounding medium as well as in the moving body like bomb. So damping effect is greater if the medium is having more amount of viscosity. So this is the common experience. Now, as a result, what happens? The angular frequency will no more be constant. Angular frequency keeps on decreasing. However, in practice, when there is damping effect, due to the surrounding medium, the angular frequency omega the angular frequency omega changes. Angular frequency omega decreases. It keeps on changing. So in that case we are going to take it as omega dash, which is going to be decreasing value. And for small damping effect we can assume that this angular frequency is almost constant. Now what are the forces? Let us see the forces. Now when the damping effect is minimum, there is always a restoring force acting on the movement of this block, which is always acting towards the mean position. And that restoring force we have termed it as the spring force for an oscillating block. The restoring force, which I write as Fs. Restoring force in this case it is spring force, is directly proportional to negative of displacement, which we have already studied, and therefore it is given by Fs is equal to minus kx as a function of time t, where xt is a displacement. So this is already opposing the free movement. This is already opposing the oscillations, which has a tendency to bring it to the mean position. Due to the presence of medium, the damping force Ft, which is, we can say, viscous force. Stokes law, if you remember, viscous force, Stokes law on a moving body, that is what we in general take it as damping force or viscous force. We write it as Ft is found to be directly proportional to the velocity, the speed of a moving body, and it is taken to be negative. More the speed of oscillations, more is the opposing force. So negative sign represents that damping force or viscous drag is directly proportional to the speed of moving body. So Stokes law also states the same thing. Viscous force F is directly proportional to the speed of falling body, the speed of moving body in the surrounding medium, and it is also directly proportional to the dimensions of the body, the size of the body, directly proportional to size of the body and shape of the body. So in general we can write, therefore Fb is equal to minus Bv, where B is called damping constant. This damping constant depends on size of the body and shape of the body. 4 pi eta ab, if you remember. So all together we take it as constant b. So Ft is directly proportional to negative of v, means it is directly proportional to the speed of the oscillations, the speed of oscillating body, and it is in the opposite direction of the motion. Therefore there is a negative sign. So both are opposing the motion. Spring force is also opposing the motion and damping force is also opposing the motion. motion. As a result, what happens? The oscillations eventually die out. Now we can write the force equation. As we have written force only in the case of the spring force, we have written. Now we have to include this damping force also. As a result, we get the total force using Newton's second law. Therefore, total force acting on the oscillating body now becomes F equal to Fs plus Fd. Now Fs is the spring force, that is minus kx, and Fd is the viscous force minus kx, and this one is minus dv, where dv is the damping constant. And using Newton's second law, I will write what is force. Force is equal to ma using Newton's second law. Force is equal to ma. Now you see, A is time dependent, the displacement is also time dependent, the speed of oscillations is also time dependent. So all these quantities, acceleration, displacement and the velocity or speed, they are all time dependent. So we know that A is equal to dv by dt, rate of change of velocity or rate of change of speed, and B is equal to dx by dt, rate of change of displacement. And if we substitute in this equation, so it becomes d by dt of dx by dt. d by dt of dx by dt, it becomes d square x by dt square, 2 times differentiation, d square x by dt square. This is dx by dt, and here x is again a time dependent function. So substituting these values in the above equation, substituting these values in the above equation, then we get m into d square x by dt square. Take this to the right hand side, so it becomes plus b into b is dx by dt, plus take this minus kx to the right hand side, the left hand side, it becomes plus kx. This becomes 2. So this is an equation which is having differentiation of second order. So this is a second order differential equation. Second order differential equation. Differential equation of the order of 2, d square x by dt square. So this has a solution for x. If we solve this for x, solution of such a second order differential equation, first order differential equation, third order differential equation, and nth order differential equations, you are going to learn in the higher classes. Now we are taking directly the solution. The solution of this equation becomes x as a function of time t equal to a into exponential function e to the power of minus bt upon 2m, minus bt upon 2m into cos of omega dash t plus phi, where you see here the angular frequency is not omega, the angular frequency here is omega dash, and the amplitude is not A. Amplitude is A into e raised to minus bt upon 2m. E raised to exponential function. E raised to minus bt upon 2m. So this entire thing becomes the amplitude. So the displacement of damped oscillator. This is the equation for displacement of displacement function for a damped oscillator. Definitely, this, if you look at it, the amplitude of oscillation is exponentially decreasing with respect to time t, e to the power of minus bt upon 2m, where b is the damping factor and m is the mass of the oscillating body, t is the time. So as time increases, the amplitude of oscillations keeps on decreasing, and this is omega dash. Omega dash is no more the value which we got it earlier as square root of k by m. It will be now decreased value. So this is how we solve for a motion of a damped oscillator. Motion of a damped oscillator, right? So motion of undamped oscillator, where we solved earlier for motion of undamped oscillator, we got x equal to, if you remember, x equal to a into cos omega t plus phi. Here in this case, which is having a simple harmonic oscillation or simple harmonic motion, the amplitude is constant and the frequency omega dash is also having constant value, which is given by square root of k by m. Whereas you compare this with actual damped oscillator, the amplitude is no more just a multiplied by exponentially decreasing factor e to the power minus bt upon 2m. So the amplitude of oscillations keeps on decreasing, and even the angular acceleration is also of decreased value. Let us see those values and draw the graph. Okay, now we will wind up. In the next session, we will draw the graph of the displacement of a damped oscillator, xt versus time graph. Xt versus time graph when we draw, then we will come to know how the amplitude keeps on decreasing. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.